Monday is back, and so is your dose of Monday Health Booster. Hello, I'm Dr. Shivani Sood, and in today's Monday Health Booster, I will be talking about anxiety and the top three ways on how to reduce it. Now, why this topic of anxiety? Because I think over last 2 weeks, I have been hearing about coronavirus all the time, to the fact from my daughter's school to the neighborhood to all the news and media, and people are getting more and more anxious. Now, some are getting anxious to the point really worried, which is, I think, it's an epidemic. It's okay to be normally worried. I'm worried that this epidemic can spread. But then some are getting affected to the point that they're really sealing themselves inside the home and they're not getting out of their homes and not meeting people. They feel anxious all the time. Their heart rate increases. They are sweating when they hear about such news, and they're imagining a lot of things which has not happened. And that's when we know a person is suffering from anxiety, when he really exaggerates the thing which is happening with him, instead of just letting the situation stay in and see what his options are. Now, this is something which is in nature, right? Nature is something we inherit, but we can always train ourselves to work ourselves out of this nature, because what happens is that when you constantly feel anxious, you are making yourself physically sick. So if you're going to go out with this anxiety, you're more likely to catch this virus rather than, going out with that confidence that I am taking care of myself and I'm okay. Well, so what are my top three tips to help with anxiety? Tip number one. Tip number one is find out the reason why you have anxiety. There are various reasons. Like I said, the most difficult one to cure is when you think to have anxiety is good and there's no need to correct it. And this is sometimes a family trend. I've often seen amongst people that, they are worried for their children and anxious all the time, whereas it's not helping their children at all that they are anxious. But they think if they're a good mother or they're a good father, they need to be anxious, right? So when you start thinking anxiety as something good, as a form of love for others, that's when you're planning to make yourself sick. And the truth is, it doesn't help the other person. Besides this, when you take too much on your plate, when you have too much and less time and you miss the skills which you require to do a task. For example, if somebody would give me some website technical stuff and I don't know how to do that, then I'm going to feel anxious if that's the job I need to show end of the day. So you have to find out the reason what is creating the anxiety. Is it you have too much on your plate? Is it because you're not competent of doing what you're doing? Is it your nature? And then work gently towards helping this nature. Tip number two. Tip number two is always nutrition. That coffee you're having, that excess alcohol you drank last night, or that cigarette you smoke whole day to make you anxious. Because nutrition is the base of everything. When we have a good nutrition, our body generates ojas. Ojas is an Ayurvedic word which is like when the food is digested properly and the extract is produced, we have ojas. When the ojas is high, our immunity system is high. So when we step in a situation where there is stress, we perform much, much better and we don't feel so much stress. But when we have low ojas, even a small task, like a small test at school, can trigger anxiety. So in Ayurveda, it's really important that you pay attention to what you're eating, because that makes your psychology as well. So food is also, determining not only our physical strength, it is determining our mental strength. Third thing, Third thing is that, let's say you eat good and you don't have any causes, then what can you look into? You can look at the hormonal world. Hormones really can cause anxiety. When you are premenstrual, anxiety can be triggered, or when you have low levels of thyroid, you can constantly feel anxious. And sometimes, because of high levels of stress, cortisol and so on also trigger anxiety. So, hormonal balancing can really help you out with anxiety. And that's the third thing what you need to pay attention to if you have anxiety. So, once you have this cause taken out and then you take the step which you need to heal anxiety, you're going to have much more better results with healing anxiety, because you know the reason why it's coming. So, pay a little attention to your body, because your body is doing all what you want for it, and it's really important to take good care of it and pay attention to these small signs which are coming, like anxiety or fear or stress, and sort it out for your body, because you are capable of handling your problems, right? We always have this underestimation about who we are, but we are capable of knowing how to sort out our problem once we know the technique on how to do it. Without a technique, we often lose power, and that's not what I suggest. So I hope you got some useful insight into anxiety and you are willing to cure that anxiety and be healthy again. So that's all for this Monday Health Booster, and I'll see you next Monday. Until then, stay happy and stay healthy. Thank you very much.